So hello, and you're very welcome to your first online chair yoga class. It's being broadcast from my living room, and we may have two dogs coming in to join us from time to time in the practice. And if you have any dogs or cats or anybody else at home with you, then the benefit of sitting in the chair is that they can come around and say hello and not really interfere with our practice too much. So it's very nice to sort of see you. I can imagine you there, and until we can meet again, until we can come together safely in the same room in a shared space, we can at least share some virtual space together. So hope you're well, hope you're keeping safe and negotiating this period of turbulence that we're all in together without too much distress, and hopefully the practice today and the future practices will just give you a little bit of time out where you can sit literally and breathe, move, keep the mind and the body sort of grounded, and keep us moving and active and fit and healthy in lots of ways, mentally, physically, emotionally, as we go through the next few weeks. So for your practice today, you're going to need a dog. Well, that's completely optional. A chair. So I'm using a folding chair, but it's just because it's the one that I have that's most suitable for the practice today. I don't have sort of traditional four-legged kitchen chairs. So if you have a folding chair might be comfortable as long as it's nice and stable. If you have a kitchen chair that doesn't have arms, doesn't have sides on it, that would be absolutely fine. A chair that has sides on it or has arms in it is probably going to stretch some of your movement later on as we go through the practice. So I've got a very persistent little test here. So you can, once I've gone through this bit of an intro, you can go get what you need and then pause your video and come back to it. Also, if you're like me and your feet don't reach the floor, so if you have a really tall chair and your feet don't reach the floor, I'm using a couple of kitchen cookery books, and it's probably the first time they've had any use for quite some time. So I'm glad that they're getting a bit of a workout today as well. So because mine are the shiny type, I just found an area when I was sitting on them, they kept sort of sliding forward. So I put a tea towel in between just to give them a little bit more grip. You could use cushions, or you could use a bolster if you had a bolster, but it's better to have something firm so that when you're pressing down with your feet, you get that sense of being grounded and connected. Anything that's too squishy might leave you feeling a little bit sort of imbalanced or unearthed, and we really need to sort of ground ourselves and soothe ourselves at the moment. And then I also have a belt here, which is the belt of a dressing gown. You could use something like, if you have a yoga belt, great, that's what you want to be using. If you have, these are very nice and soft, and I think I might get into production of soft, fleecy yoga belts when this is all over. Something like a tie, a necktie, or a longer scarf would do the trick as well. So just something that's long and not too wide that you can use for some of the movements where we'll use a band later. And it's good to have a second chair handy as well for the end of the practice, so when we come to our relaxation practice. So I have another chair over to the side, so something of similar height to what you're on, and preferably something that's got maybe cushioning on the seat, because we're going to put our legs up on it for our relaxation, and you don't want your feet or your heels resting on anything that's too hard. So go get all your bits and pieces and come back to me when you're ready. And we're just going to come to sitting initially. Get yourself comfortable on the chair. Sit yourself right back into the chair as much as you can. And if this chair that you're sitting on has a hard back, and it would be nicer to maybe just pop a blanket behind you so that you have a little bit of support there. But I'd encourage that because you want to be nice and comfortable. So we're sitting so that the shoulders are placed above the hips. I'm not leaning back into the chair, and I'm not leaning forwards. There's roughly a 90-degree angle from my hips to my knees and then down to my feet. And you want to find an alignment that is similar to you. It won't be so comfortable if your knees are too high. So if you've got something under the feet that's higher and taking you into this sort of shape, that's going to be that's going to be quite strong in your core, and it's potentially going to be uncomfortable quite quickly for your lower back as well. So it's good to get ourselves grounded. So the seat, your bum is basically acting as your base for the practice. So it's really important that we're nice and grounded. So we'll start with a little meditation just to get us into the space and help to start to invite the body and the mind to settle a little. And don't expect your mind to settle immediately. Particularly at the moment, there's a lot going on to worry us. There's a lot going on around us. We're having a lot of media consumption and news consumption at the moment, and it's generally quite stressful. So allow the time that it's going to take for you to settle a little bit, and try not to get too frustrated. If that's a bit of a journey for you, it would be more so than usual. So if you're comfortable to close the eyes, closing your eyes for your meditation will just help you to tune inwards a little bit more fully. If you prefer to keep your eyes open, just keep your gaze soft and low, so that you're not necessarily looking at your screen, you're not necessarily looking at me, but find maybe a point on the floor in front of you, or maybe ahead of you, that you can just allow your focus to rest on one point of focus. We call it a drishti, just to try to almost screen out some of the external distractions around you. I have my hands resting on my thighs. I usually bring my fingers to mudra, where my thumbs and index finger on either hand come into connection. And that creates a nice energetic seal there. You can rest with the palms towards the ceiling or palms facing downwards, whichever is more comfortable. And we're just inviting a nice openness here across the shoulders, so that what we call the heart space, the center of the chest, is nice and open. We're not hunching forwards into it, and this is why we keep our shoulders over our hips. And you're not puffing out your belly or your rib cage, which is why we keep our shoulders over our hips rather than behind them. So we have a nice alignment here. So just allowing the body to settle. Noticing all of the points of connection between your body and the supports. So notice where your feet are supported, either by the floor or by whatever props you may have chosen. Just take a moment to lift your toes and spread them. See how that deepens a little the connection between the balls of your feet and the heels and your supports. And then slowly replace the toes back down, so that the entire foot on either side is connecting with the supports beneath. Maybe take a moment to shift the weight from one foot to the other. So when you press your left foot down, you'll feel a little rising on the right side of the body. And when you press your left foot down, you'll feel a little rising on the opposite side. Notice where your thighs are making contact with the seat of your chair. Notice where your sit bones are connecting. And allow yourself to rest fully into that support. Allow yourself to trust into that seat. And if it helps to shift your weight from side to side or do anything to get a little bit more comfortable, take a moment for that. It's much easier to rest in stillness when we're comfortable. Notice the back of your body and where it's making contact with your support with the back of your chair. And if you need to make any little adjustments there so that you're more comfortable, or you just release out any creasing in the toes or bunching in the toes that might be uncomfortable. And then resting back, trusting back into the support of the chair behind you. Noticing the front of the body. And start by noticing where your hands are resting. So where your hands are supported by your thighs. If your hands are resting anywhere else, just noticing where the hands are connecting, either with the body or the chair. Notice where the arms, the sides of the arms are connecting with your body, with the sides of your body. And again, just give yourself a little hug, a little squeeze there, just by inviting the arms in a little bit more closely. So you have that connection with yourself. Notice all the space at the front of the body. all of the spaciousness, the lightness around the feet, the shins, the thighs, around the front of the belly, above and below the navel. You don't really sense into the back of the belly, but this part of the front of the body, around your chest, and the air and the space and the energy around your face and the crown of the head. So notice while you're connecting and you're rooted with all parts of the body that are making contact with a surface or a support or perhaps part of your own body, there's spaciousness, there's energy around all parts of you that are released or free from those connections. And the crown of the head is almost connecting up to the source of light, the source of sun above us. So we're nice and long, we're rooting down with the sit bones and lengthening through the spine. The crown of the head is moving towards the sky. And just a moment, take a moment to notice your breath as it's coming and going. So allowing your face to be nice and soft and relaxed, relaxing your jaw, softening your mouth, your lips, your tongue, your forehead. Really just allowing the chair and the support of the chair and the floor to do the work to hold you so that you can allow these supports on your skeletal structure to do the sitting up, the holding. And your muscles, the rest of the body can soften into and around these supports. Notice where the breath is making its way into the body. And notice where the breath is leaving again. And just taking a moment to take one hand to your chest and one hand to your belly. And have the hand at that contact, and it'll be nice and light so that you're not pressing in, you're not in any way compressing, you're just making that light, gentle connection. And as you inhale, just notice what happens. Again, noticing what happens on your exhalation. Flow with that for a few breaths. So as you're inhaling, you're maybe noticing a gentle movement outwards of the belly into the hands, into your lower hand, and then momentarily later you'll notice the chest moving out into the hand. A slight lifting of the chest, a slight lifting of the body, particularly the torso. And then as you exhale, there's a release of the chest and then the release of the belly. And notice the lengthening in the body as the breath moves in and comes down towards the base of your lungs, as though you get a little taller, a little longer in the torso from your collarbone to your hip bones. And as you exhale, there's that softening down, that release back down towards your seat, back down towards the earth. So take a moment to notice all these gentle movements, everything that's moving in response to this breath coming in. I'll just put that in pause for a minute. So apologies, I had the phone on airplane mode, but I decided to ring anyway. So back to noticing the breath. You're noticing all of the movements in response to the inhalation, and that lengthening in the body and the expansion in the body. And then all of the release on the exhalation. And perhaps now just gently moving your hands to either side of your diaphragm. So either side of the rib cage. And again, it's a gentle connection. We're not pressing in too strongly. And as you inhale, just notice the movement outwards of the diaphragm, the sides of the body into the hands. And then on your exhalation, the release back to center. Inhaling, opening and expanding. And then exhaling and softening back to center. Once more, inhale, notice that lengthening as the side body moves outwards to accommodate the breath coming in. And then that release back to center. And then just take the hands lightly to the front of the belly. And notice, so we're still sort of around the sides of the diaphragm, but just towards the front. So as you inhale, notice the movement outwards into the hands. And as you exhale, softening back to center. And then as you inhale, also take into your awareness the movement of the back body into your chair. And the gentle release back to center. So taking your hands back to your thighs or wherever is comfortable. So as we inhale these nice long flow breaths, the body is expanding to allow that breath to come in, to nurture us, to revitalize us, to take us from moment to moment. And in the exhalations, that lovely contraction, that softening of the body back towards center, encourages the release of the breath so that we can exhale all the way to empty, we can cleanse, we can detox, and we can make space for new vitality to find its way back in. And that's happening whether or not we pay attention, it's happening whether or not we notice. But when we do tune in, when we do pay attention, it can be a very soothing, nurturing focus for the mind. And we'll work with the breath a little as we move through the practice. So I invite you to set an intention, a sankalpa for your practice. How would you like the energy of your practice to support you? What is it that you've needed as you've come to sit today in your chair? So it might be about finding a little bit of peace, a little balance, a sense of equilibrium in current uncertainty. It might just be about slowing down for a while or reconnecting with yourself, getting to know yourself a little bit better, getting to know your breath and trusting your breath, trusting yourself a little more fully, finding certainty within. So we have no control over what's going on around us externally. We have control about how we can interact with it and how we can play our part. But we don't have control over events themselves. But we do have lots of control with regards to just moving back inwards, finding a little bit of internal peace and in that building some resilience. So taking one or two nice long deep slow flow breaths here just before we come towards a little movement. And then we're going to invite a sighing breath or two into the practice. And the sighing breath, we'll inhale fully through the nostrils. If you can breathe through the nostrils, if you have to breathe through the nose or the mouth today, that's fine. And then we're going to sigh out softly and slowly through the mouth. So releasing the breath through the lips. Inhaling a nice full nurturing breath. Sighing out, softening. And the next time we'll take the body into this, so take a little bit of movement. So as you inhale, bring the shoulders up towards the ears. And as you exhale, just let go. Let the breath release. And often that movement of the shoulders dropping down really helps to encourage that sigh. So we'll do that a couple more times. Inhaling, shoulders towards the tips of the ears, towards the earlobes. And then releasing back down. One more full inhalation. And release. And then I invite you as you exhale next to gently release your your chin towards your chest. Allow a little lengthening to come into the back of the neck. Keeping the face soft. And you're not forcing anything, don't push the chin to the chest, don't force anything with regards to the neck. Just let the weight of the head create a little opening there, inviting the shoulders back, the shoulder blades back towards each other so we maintain length and spaciousness here across your heart center. And then nice and slowly you're going to start to lift your gaze and look forwards. And you can decide whether you want to open your eyes or whether you want to keep the eyes closed, but closed, but move nice and slowly here. We're going to take a journey to the side with the nose and the chin, with the head, the face now. So take a nice full inhalation. And as you exhale, start to allow your head to drift towards the left shoulder, really nice and slowly. So you can't move slowly enough. Really slow down the day to day. And when you run to the end of the breath, the end of the exhalation, pause wherever you are for the inhalation. That's your refueling breath. And then continue along in that same direction when the exhale makes its way back. Again, if you run out of breath, pause while you inhale again. So it might be taking you 2 or 3 breaths to get all the way over to the shoulder. And then continue that journey around towards that shoulder. Again, you have the eyes open or closed. So try to avoid following with the right shoulder. Take a nice full inhalation here. Exhale, just check, are you already at the outer point that your body wants to take you to, or is there a little bit more space perhaps for you to look into there? Just be curious. And again, you're not dropping the shoulder forward, just keeping the shoulder back. And really look around there. And when you come to inhale again, start that nice slow journey back to center. So it's a really slow, mindful movement. When you run out of breath or when you come to the peak of the inhalation, pause while you exhale. And then continue back towards center on your next inhalation. And the other benefit to moving really slowly is that you'll really notice any tightness, any tension, any soreness or stiffness in the body, and you're less likely to go past the point of no return in terms of straining. Again, if you haven't fully reached back to center, pause when you exhale, and then make your way back in the inhalation. And just take a moment to notice the difference between the right and left side of the body here. Take a nice full inhalation, and then we're going to think about taking this to the other side. So as you exhale, start that journey over to the right side of the body. Really slow, gentle movement. Really just noticing everything you notice in terms of sensation, movement, energy. Pause at the end of the exhalation while you refuel. Continue on your next exhalation as far as that will take you, moving as slowly as you can. Nice full inhalation. Continuing around on the exhalation. And then you may need another breath or so to get you towards the shoulder. You might have already reached it. Again, we're going to pause when you inhale. When you exhale, be curious and just check, have I any more space to move into? Is there anywhere to go? Have I already reached my outer range of movement today? And then on an inhalation, you're going to start to make that slow, mindful, effortless journey back towards center. And your awareness as much as possible is just focused on the movement and focused on the breath. And I can almost visualize you moving here with me. And those are faces that I normally see in front of me for this class. Take a nice full inhalation. And then slowly back around to center on the exhalation. And then one last time, take a nice inhalation, dropping your chin towards your chest again. Nice breath here. As you exhale, drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. So not lifting the shoulder, just letting the ear come to wherever it wants to come to. Take your left hand, and as though you were trying to push away your little distracting puppy or your imaginary one, just gently guiding that hand out to the side and back behind you. Keeping the hand nice and active, the arm nice and active. And if you have any tightness or tension here into the shoulder or the neck on this side of the body, you're going to feel it. This is just allowing us to release out a little bit more fully. It's an exercise that comes from physiotherapists often recommend it. And then we can release that hand and nice and slowly and effortlessly Mindfully come back towards center. And then you're going to take your left ear towards your left shoulder. Again, just, you're not pressing it down, you're not trying to overstretch into the side of the neck, just as far as feels natural and comfortable. And you might then take the right hand out to the side back behind you. So your curious little furry friend here is trying to make its way back the other side. I think you might have fallen asleep for a while. And then relaxing the arm and nice and slowly making your way back to center. Have a full inhalation and exhalation. And then on the subsequent inhalation, nice and slowly lifting your gaze and looking forwards. So welcome back. Take a breath, take a moment just to see how that's landing in your body, how you might feel now in terms of the busyness, the raciness that you might have started with when you first came to sit down, or you might have sat down already feeling very grounded and relaxed, but how are you feeling right now? How is this presenting for you right now? And then we're going to take our hands and gently interlace the fingers, and as we inhale, we're just going to take a nice stretch towards the ceiling. So palms towards the ceiling, and then drop the shoulders so that we're not hunching up into the neck. We're trying to keep nice space and openness here for the neck. We're going to take the palms back towards the crown of the head, and as we inhale, nice and slowly, moving for the length of the breath. So show me, I'll try to imagine seeing you, the length of your inhalation from start to finish here. And when you move towards the exhalation, continue that nice, slow journey back in towards your chair with the fingertips coming to the floor. And then take the hands in front of you, interlace them, and send the palms forward. And allow the palms to move the arms forward whilst you invite the shoulders back, so that you're not moving forwards with the, you're not rounding your thoracic spine there, you're not moving forwards with the shoulders. So the shoulders are staying engaged, you're pressing your palms forwards, and if that's too uncomfortable with the hands interlaced, you might just hold one hand onto another, or even do it separately, whichever's going to work best for you. And then we rotate the palms towards the ceiling. And as we inhale next, we're going to take them open nice and wide, so nice airplane, chair plane kind of movement here. Let the thumbs come back towards the wall behind you, as far as they want to come really, and then exhaling back down, fingertips towards the floor. So just opening up the chest, the upper body, give the arms a little shake out there, the shoulders a little shake out, rolling of the shoulders, inhale up towards the earlobes and then release back behind you. We'll be doing that again, inhaling up and releasing back behind you. And then moving from the other directions, coming back behind you up towards the earlobes and then down towards the chest. Once more, just completing that lovely rotation. And then we're going to take the palms so that they're back towards the ceiling, and the arms are coming in line, fingers are coming in line with the shoulders, so wherever they want to be. They might be a little bit lower, no need for them to be higher. Drop your shoulders away from your ears again. And on your next breath, it doesn't matter whether it's your inhale or your exhale, you're going to rotate your left palm towards the floor and around behind you. And when you meet your next breath, we're going to swap that around and do the opposite with the other side, so that you'll have one palm facing maybe back behind you and the other one towards the ceiling. Roll that around, feel the energy in the hands, feel the energy up along the arms, all the way to the shoulders and the neck. Feel the muscles warming, the body warming. And you're getting a lovely rotation here into your shoulders.
I couldn't hear what you said.
A lovely release into your spine. I don't know who's talking to us there. And then both palms towards the ceiling, and as you exhale, fingertips come back to the floor. Just soften these arms here again. And just take a moment to roll the shoulders, and then sitting up a little higher in your chair. So reach for your belt, or your band, or your tie, or your scarf, or whatever it is that you have here. I don't know if you can see on the screen, but I can see, so I'm just going to take that away in case it's coming in to interrupt you. And say hello close up. And then we're going to hold the band in your hands so that your hands are about shoulder distance or so apart. a little bit wider maybe. And shoulder distance is when your wrists and your hands are in line with your shoulders. And then as we inhale, we're going to bring the arms up towards the ceiling and the hands are pulling against the band, so we have nice engagement in the arms here. Release, so you see the way your shoulders and one side do want to bunch up towards the ears. So release your shoulders, so keeping the arms straight or as comfortable as straight as you can in a way that's comfortable for your body. Now your arms might want to be further forward. For some of you, they might come further back behind. So find whatever is comfortable and just hold here for a breath or two. So avoid leaning back into your chair and sticking out your belly like I'm doing now, and I've just noticed it. So lengthen up through my spine there, release those shoulders and just let the arms warm up. Lovely, and then I'm going to inhale forwards and exhale when I get around to my chest, back towards my thighs. I'm going to relax and soften my arms for a minute. And then I'm going to inhale back up to chest height so that my hands are roughly in line with my shoulders again. And this time as I exhale, I'm just going to hold and release my shoulders. When I inhale again, I'm going to take both my hands out to the left side. So I'm keeping my arms straight, my gaze forwards, and letting one arm guide the other. The hands are not really pulling, there's no great effort involved, but they're moving against the belt so that that resistance or tension that we have between the hands remains. And then you can inhale that nice and slowly back towards center. But anytime the arms get tired, just bend the elbows, release them back down and come up into it whenever you're ready. And then we're going to exhale nice and slowly across to the other side. Lovely. And then we're going to come back to center. Take our arms up towards the ceiling on an inhalation. We're going to make a circular movement there with it. So that was my arm cracking, which just indicates movement of fluids. So nice movement out to the side on an exhalation, so we'll move as the body breathes. So the body generally moves inwards and downwards on the exhalations, and then when I come across the body to the other side, I'm going to come up and around on the inhalation. I'm going to do 3 times in each direction, so I'm going to go once more. And if you try with half a circle for an inhalation, half a circle for an exhalation, it generally slows us down to a nice rhythm. So notice where your body is moving against your body, where the inside of your arms are moving against your chest. Notice where there's that release, where the body is not making contact with itself. Notice the hands on your belt or your band. And then when you come so that the hands are above your head, if you've gone 2 or 3 times, we'll just take that back in the opposite direction. Again, half a circle for an inhalation, half a circle for an exhalation. So we're just mobilizing the arms here, mobilizing the shoulders. The fact that we have the band between, or the belt between the hands means that we're changing the load slightly for the muscles, so they're working a little bit harder than if we were just doing this with nothing in between. And then just come to release and relax with that a little bit. And then we're going to sit forwards on the chair, so come about halfway forwards. You want to still be nice and grounded there with the sit bones. And we're going to take a little bit of I was imagining a majorette or something, which I never was, so I'm coming to it a little bit late in life again. Just mind that you're not puffing out the rib cage here. We want the diaphragm moving down towards the earth. Come back so the hands are I want to say hip distance, but I think what I mean is shoulder distance apart. And then we're going to take a kind of sort of similar to what we're doing, but just making that a little bit wider, and then perhaps taking it around one arm at a time, come wider on your band, so that we're taking almost a full revolution into this here, cartwheely kind of style, and you take that round in the opposite direction. It's nice to do this standing up as well. So you can do this, continue sitting in your chair, or you can continue to do this standing up. And then the next time you come around and you have the hands behind you, just invite the hands to stay behind you, bring them a little bit closer to the body, and maybe shorten your grip on the belt a little bit. And then I'm going to just turn around here to show you what it is that I'm doing. So I'm just going to take the arms back behind me. So it's inviting the shoulder blades to come towards each other. Now you might be here. That might be where your body wants to be. You might come higher up with it. So don't force anything. You're just staying nice and long in the spine, but just that little movement there. In whatever way feels good. And then you're going to bend the elbows. You take the belt around to the waist, and just take a moment to shake out the hands, shake out the arms there. In any way that feels nice, a little wiggle into that. Take the belt in your hands in front of you one more time. We're going to use this time for a little lateral stretching, a little sideways stretching. So as we inhale, taking the arms forward and all the way up towards the ceiling. So a little bit wider than shoulder distance apart, or whatever feels nice for you, and you can have a little play with it. So sit back. You don't want your back against the back of the chair, but you want to feel like you're really nice and rooted and grounded here. And as you next exhale, you're going to take a little stretch out here towards the left side. So you're using your left hand to guide the right to the side, but we're maintaining that tension on the belt and that space between it. And then inhale, use your right hand to guide the left back to center, and then out to the other side. So you want to stretch here into the side body. Inhale back to center. You can do this without the band either, but it just gives you a little bit of extra stability when you have the belt there. Inhale back to center. And exhaling out. So building a little strength, a little bit of stability, a little bit of flexibility in the arms and the shoulders here. Lovely. And then we'll just take the arms down for one moment. Have a nice full inhalation. Sighing, exhalation. Lovely. And then we're going to just take a little torso twist with this. So we're going to take the belt back up towards the ceiling as we inhale. And then as we exhale, grounding down with your sit bones. Just allow the entire torso to move around to the left side. Now, if you're going right, it's absolutely fine. And then nice and slowly, you're going to inhale back to center. So you can continue to pull the hands apart, keeping that tension on the band. Allow your gaze to follow the arm that's moving in the direction of the side of the body or towards the back of the body. Inhale back to center. And then exhale around. Inhale back to center. Bend the arms and take the belt behind you. The band behind you, whatever it is that you're using. I should have said earlier, if you have resistance bands, you might want to use them for this. And then we'll just take the band. So it's kind of where you're underneath your shoulder blades or where your bra strap would be. And you can take the arms into a cactus pose here. So you're holding on, the band is just around behind you. Again, it's just giving us something for us to stabilize the shoulders with. Elbows are back, palms forwards. We'll take a little torso twist there. So flowing around on your exhale to the right or left side. So I'm going left. Inhale back to center, nice and slowly. Exhale around to the other side, nice and slowly. And inhale back to center. And then slide your arms out along. And so you have nice wide arms. As you inhale, take them all the way up towards the ceiling. You can let the band go, your belt go, and then as you exhale, your palms are going to continue towards the ceiling, fingertips are coming towards the floor. Lift out of your seat, lift out of your waist. So sorry, when I say lift out of your seat, I don't mean get up out of your seat. I mean lift your shoulders away from your bum, so your bum being your seat. And then as you exhale, you're going to just fold forwards as the fingertips come towards the floor. Your belly is going to come to your thighs and your fingertips are going to come towards the ankles or the feet. And then you're going to inhale, lengthen forwards here and look forwards. Now don't lift your head any more than you need to. We'd like to maintain a nice long line from the crown of your head to your tailbone. I'm looking forwards to, I don't want to say see you, but just to, as if I was looking at you in a class. And then exhale, bending the elbows, take the belly a little closer to the thighs and release the crown of the head towards the floor. You can release any tension in the upper body. The arms can become nice and soft. So relaxing the arms, letting that chest come towards the belly as much as it wants to. If that's compressing or pinching your lower back in any way, just come back up to a point where it's comfortable and even use your forearms on the thighs to stabilize you there. You can still relax your shoulders and relax your neck. And if there's any thing going on, it's not comfortable for you to release your neck, then accommodate your own body, just everything, and only do what feels nice. What feels good, do it. If it doesn't, stop. One more breath here, one for inhalation and the exhalation, soften a little bit more towards the floor, and then press in with the feet. As you lengthen on the inhalation, give yourself a little massage there as you come up along the body and release back to your seat. A nice full inhalation. And on from those forward folds, encourage a nice releasing experience there. So just take a moment or two to integrate that. Close the eyes if you're comfortable to do so, otherwise have your gaze long and low. And then we're going to think about the lower body. So if it's comfortable for you, as you inhale, just lengthen the feet away from you, lengthen the legs and press through your heels. If that's too strong, just do that one leg at a time. So maybe do it for a couple of breaths on the right side and then change it to the left side. Don't lock your knees. Always keep your knees like soft and have a micro bend. So point the toes away. You can be doing this one leg or both legs at a time. So we're lengthening along the front of the legs, and then as we exhale, you're going to curl the toes back towards the chest and press through the heels. So almost your high heel feet. And that lengthens into the hamstrings, pointing away with the toes as you inhale, and then exhaling, toes come back towards the chest and we lengthen through the hamstrings. Take a moment to take the feet back to the floor and have a breath. Now we're going to inhale and lengthen again. And this time I'll just make a little rotation with the ankles. You can do this with your feet on the floor as well if this is too strong, or you want to take the legs a little lower with a bend in the knees. That's absolutely fine, because what we're really doing at this point is giving a little mobilization to the ankle joints. So nice slow rotations, half a circle for an inhalation, half a circle for an exhalation. A little wiggling of the toes, stretching through the tops of the ankles, and then back through the back of the ankles, so the backs of the heels, so that we're giving a little bit of release out there for the ankle joints. And then you can bend both of your knees. And then we are going to take our belt again. Bring your left knee towards your belly, towards your chest, and take your band onto the foot. So usually the band would go sort of underneath the base of the big toe across to the little toe, and then lengthen that leg out. So press through the heel here. And you can really press into the band for the stability there. The more you have your toes coming back, and adjust it as you need to, the more you have your toes coming back towards your chest, the more you'll engage your hamstring. But please keep the knee soft, don't lock your knee. You can swap both hands or the band into both. You can swap both sides of the band into one hand. Very complicated sentence. And avoid letting your shoulder move forward. So you're using the band to stabilize your shoulder as well. So you're pushing your foot into the band and you're pulling or guiding your shoulder back against it. And then as we inhale here, we're going to lengthen out to the side, as far as your leg wants to go without turning your torso. So you can hold on to the side of the chair on the other side if you like. Keep that leg soft. And just hold here for a little inner thigh stretch. Have a breath here. And then see, maybe might it be comfortable for you to bend the knee. Start to allow the knee to move outwards and use the belt to guide the heel in towards the base of the chair, in towards your pelvis, and keeping the shoulder back and your elbow back. So you're moving into a little hip opener here. If that's too strong for you, you might be more like this. You might be way back towards center with it. So whatever is comfortable for your body, you don't have to worry about what I look like, and you don't have to worry about anybody else. So we're going to inhale, lengthening out, back out to the side, and then exhale back towards center. Release that foot to the floor so you can take the band back in either hand. And then just take a moment to notice the difference again between the right and left side. Let's swap that to the other leg, to the other foot. So starting with the band, belt in other hand. You're going to lengthen forwards there with the foot, press through the heel, soft knee. holding on there. Initially with two hands, and you have this idea that you're moving your shoulders back, trying to stabilize your shoulders. And you have that resistance of the foot pushing against the belt then to lengthen the leg. So it's kind of like stirrups here. You're nice and supported, nice and stable. You're not allowing the thoracic spine to round forward. Holding the two sides of the belt into your left hand. As we inhale, we're going to lengthen out to the sides, as far as you want to go. Press through the heel, continue to get that stretch there for your inner thigh. And then nice and slowly back to center. We're going to come back out again, so we'll complete the movement. And then we're going to bend that knee as much as is comfortable, letting the knee fall out and the heel come in towards your pelvis, in towards the side of the chair. Hold that for a breath or two. If that's too strong, you can, so your knee will come wherever it needs to accommodate your hip. So don't try and create the shape. It's really just more about when you bend the knee and you bring the heel in, where does your knee want to go? And that's really about where your hip wants to go. That might be to do a little bit with flexibility, but more so it's more likely to be about compression, about where your hip sockets are actually placed into the sides of the pelvis. The more forwards they are, the less the knee wants to go out, the less the hip wants to open out to the side. If you're very much to the side, your knee might be falling out behind the chair. We're going to stretch that leg, and then we're going to inhale back to center. Just bending the knee. Have a breath, and then see about taking both feet in. So the feet come together. You can use the bands to lengthen you up. Walk forwards a little. Then lengthen up, invite those shoulders back in so that you have nice engagement in the arms here. Your upper body is nice and stable. Maybe sit forwards very slightly. Press through the heels. So you're coming towards a staff pose here, Dandasana. If you were sitting on the floor, your thighs would be pasted to the floor, your sit bones would be connecting with the floor. You'd have nice length between the crown of the head and the sit bones. And actually, when you hold this for a couple of breaths, lying or seated, you tend to start to feel your core working, and you might be starting to feel that a little bit now as well. So there's a lot of engagement in the body here. The arms are very engaged, upper and lower arms are engaged, the legs are engaged, you're pressing through your heels, so your hamstrings are really engaged, your thighs are engaged because you're pressing against the band. Everything is in line with the hips, so you'll feel your core engaging. So if you were to sit on the floor doing this, watching TV, watching EastEnders or Coronation Street for as long as they're there to watch, you'd eventually start to feel a little bit breathless and to break a sweat, because there's quite a nice engagement for the core in this. And one or two more breaths here. A nice sigh and release as you soften the arms, bend the knees, and allow the feet to come to the floor. So take a breath here. Nice full inhalation and exhalation. Sit slightly forwards in your chair. We're just going to take a little side twist here now. So you're going to take your right hand to your left knee, your left hand to the back of the chair, wherever is comfortable. So it might be the side of the chair, it might be the top of the chair, wherever is comfortable for you. And as you exhale, so you're going to press the hand and the knee against each other for resistance. We want to keep space between the shoulders, so we're trying to keep that right shoulder back. And then as you exhale, you're going to take your abdomen around to the side. Take a nice full inhalation, move down the sit bones, rise up through the crown. And on your next exhale, you're taking your diaphragm around to the side. So it's almost like you're trying to invite the right side of your diaphragm to move towards the left side of the body. Move to rise on your inhale, and then finally as you exhale, look round over that shoulder. You're looking round over the left shoulder, continuing to keep the right arm nice and stable, and right shoulder nice and stable by pressing against the knee, and pressing the knee and the hand against each other. And then on an exhalation, nice and slowly release the hands and come back to center. Have an inhalation. Nice cleansing exhalation. And then we'll take it round to the other side. So your left hand coming to your right knee. Move down, rise up, take the left hand round behind you. And then move on your exhalation. So as you exhale, three-part movement. So initially, we're taking our belly around towards the side, and you're not using your left hand to pull your right knee in towards the left. You're using the hand and the knee to push against each other as resistance and leverage. You're keeping that left shoulder away from the right as you inhale, root and rise up, and as you exhale, you're moving your diaphragm around to the side, and you're inviting the left side of your diaphragm to come towards the right side of the body. And then finally, on your last breath, you root and rise in your inhalation, and then turn on the exhalation, looking over that shoulder. Take a nice breath here. And whenever you're ready on an inhalation, start that nice journey back towards center. Nice. Lovely, deep cleansing breath. Exhaling, sighing out and releasing. So we're going to hold on to the back of the chair or either side of your chair. We want the diaphragm to continue to move in the direction of the floor. We're inviting the shoulder blades back towards each other. So lift through the sternum. So we're not puffing out the rib cage. We're not trying to curve the lower back. We're just lengthening the sternum and then taking our heart center and our gaze towards the ceiling. So for the back of the body, we're not doing this. We're not rounding the lower back. We're keeping that relatively neutral. And the lift is in the sternum. So it's for your thoracic spine and your chest. So you want to feel this and not in the lower back. When we arch the lower back, we're going into our lumbar spine, which is already prone to movement and flexibility. You want the thoracic spine, the upper part of the spine there, to get this stretch. Have a breath or two here, so it's a little bit like your camel pose. You might want the hands onto, you've gotten used to that, maybe take the hands onto the bottom of the chair or the side of your thighs. We're going to have one more breath here, so you're not dropping your head back, you're just lengthening your gaze towards the sky. And then as you exhale, release that. You can release your shoulders slightly forwards, your heart space out towards the floor in front of you, not down towards your navel. And then release your hands towards your shins, just to bring a little forward bend into that. We're going to inhale, lengthen, and exhale. Release. And we'll just take one little balance into it to finish the practice today before we come to our last few minutes of meditation. So come to stand to the side of your chair. So I'm going to start on my dominant, so I'm going to start balancing on my non-dominant side, my non-dominant leg, which for me is my left leg. So I'm coming to the right side of my chair so that my left leg is beside the chair. So go to whichever side you're non-dominant. So your dominant hand is the one that you use to write with. Your dominant foot is the one you use to kick with. And you're going to come to just close to the chair so that you have it there for a little bit of stability if you need it. Bring your feet so that they're about hip width apart, lift and spread your toes, and then hug in the outer hips. So lengthening up through the spine, shoulders open, shoulder blades back towards each other, and keep a micro bend in your knee, don't lock the knees. Helps sometimes, I think, to take the hand to the waist, so the hand that's away from the chair, and your elbow back. So that helps to open up, engage here across the chest, and tends to engage around the core area as well. And we're just going to start first of all with a little coming up onto our, just adjust the camera, coming up onto the balls of our feet, up onto our toes, and then back down again as you exhale. And maybe you roll back onto your heels a little before you come back onto the toes again. You can do this behind the chair either if you feel like you want to have two hands onto the chair. And then just rolling back onto the heels and back across both the feet and back down to the floor. And then we're just going to start initially with lifting the right foot off the floor. We'll bring it towards a kind of 90-degree angle where your knees in line with your hip here. Flex the foot, take that arm into engagement so you're nice and strong in your core. And maybe you'll take away a hand. Maybe you'll just start balancing or holding on, stabilizing on here with one finger or a couple of fingers. So just really lightly. So that there's very little difference between holding on and letting go. But your nervous system feels like it's got a little bit of support. And often psychologically that can just be helpful to us. And then we're going to stretch the leg out. So stretching the hamstring and then pointing the toes around that knee. Maybe take it slightly back behind us, lean slightly forwards, and then again, maybe we take a hand away and just hold down with a fingertip. Take our hand onto the knee, and as we inhale, you might like to open out to the side a little bit towards a hip opener. If you were to take the sole of the foot to your thigh here, I'm getting a little cramping there in my outer hips, so I didn't want to do that today. So if you're getting, so always adjust if you feel something, you're not going to push through pain, that's not going to be of any use to you. But if you are making some sort of connection with the sole of the foot and either the ankle or the calf, not the thigh, sorry, and you take a hand towards the ceiling, you'll be moving towards a tree pose. But you can do this with one hand holding on. I want to take the arm a little bit more to the side, whatever feels good. So have a little play with it. Balance is very precarious on the best of days for most of us. And then take that foot back to the floor, have a little wiggle. Okay. Shuffle around with it there. And then we'll come to the other side of your chair. You can walk back behind it. But make sure I'm still in the line of sight here. So I'm going to come back into my Tadasana, my mountain alignment again to stand with. Or just standing posture to start. So lift and spread the toes. Hugging the outer hips, lengthen up through the spine, shoulders away from the ears. Nice openness across the shoulder blades and diaphragm down towards the floor. So lovely engagement here for the body and nice alignment. And it's not a really rigid pose, there's a softness in it. So you're bringing your skeletal structure into alignment. The muscles don't have to be tense around that. We'll just take one moment on this side where we come up onto the toes and then release back onto the heels and then forwards up onto the toes again and then back down onto the heels. Take your hand to your waist, your elbow back. Then we just take the weight now initially onto your dominant side, whatever that is. So for me it's my right. Maybe I want to do that without the hand. Maybe I want to leave the hand there. What I want to do doesn't really matter, it's what you want to do that's important. Lovely, I'm going to take the knee so that it's in line with the hip, flex the foot. And again, I'm going to be playing with balance here. You might be playing with balance, the hand might come away. You might just want that sense of contact. You can do this by a wall as well. So if you're by a wall, again, it's just light fingers. So you're not leaning your weight into it, but you know that the support is there if you need it. You can let that leg away, press through the heel, point the toes. It activates your thigh, and then maybe you want to open up that hip. This side seems a little bit happier to do it. So the foot to the thigh, and then fingertips towards the ceiling. And that side, if you wanted to come in towards a tree pose, the pose would look like this. The trees are very asymmetrical, and the branches go in all sorts of directions, and also they blow as well in the wind. Very, very seldom see a very stable tree if there's other elements at play outside. So don't worry if some of those things happen. The main thing is that you feel that you have that support there if you need it. And then eventually you're going to come to standing. Take another moment just to come up with or without balance or with or without support. And down. A little shake. And then start to just shake your upper body towards the floor. So that eventually you have the chair here again if you want to hold on one side. So then you're just letting the weight of the upper body stretch at the back and the neck, release the shoulders. Keep the knees soft, so don't lock your knees here. Have one more breath, a nice full inhalation. Hold on to your elbows. Have a little movement round to the side. And again, the chair is here if you want to hold on with one hand and move round to the side. If you want to be kissed and cuddled by some puppies, bringing your head towards the floor is one way to achieve that. And you're going to take your arms either back to the chair or one hand back to the chair, to your waist, elbows back, whatever is nice, and then just zip up. Engage your core as you come back up. Have a nice, and then we're going to set you up for your last few minutes of relaxation. So you've stretched and lengthened through most of the body there. A little bit of a balancing practice as well. There was some strength building in that. So quite a lot happened over the last little while, so hopefully you'll be feeling a nice release in your body. So you're going to get a chair. If you have a blanket, I should have said at the beginning to have a blanket. So if you have a blanket nearby, or you just want to put on any layers that you might have taken away, you're going to get your second chair if you have one, and you're going to just lie up on your bed at this point if you're in your bedroom. And you're really just going to set yourself up, so whichever is your more comfortable chair, and you just can release back here into, this would be, we do this in the class sometimes where we use bolsters to elevate the legs, but it's really quite soothing for the body, for the nervous system. If you were doing this lying down, your crown of your head was on the, or your crown of your head at the back of your head, your back and your pelvis were on the floor, your legs would be up against a wall that you're sitting for this. Your nervous system really likes it, and apparently dogs love it too. So get yourself nice and cozy there, get yourself so that you'll be nice and warm for your last few minutes. And then I'm just going to get a little bit of music for the last little bit of the practice. So close your eyes. And if you prefer not to close your eyes, just have your gaze long and low. Relax your shoulders, soften your jaw, relax your mouth, your lips, tongue. Relaxing the cheeks, the forehead. Allow the space between the eyebrows just to release out. Allow any tension there just to melt away. And allow the outer edges of the eyebrows to move outwards as tension dissolves. The outer edges of your eyebrows are moving towards your temples. Temples are melting towards the tips of your ears. Relaxing the arms, letting them rest alongside the body in any way that's comfortable. Relaxing your elbows, your forearms, your wrists and your fingers. Relaxing the chest, front and back, the belly above and below the navel, the entire region of the middle of your back. And allow yourself to rest back into your supports. Letting your hips, your pelvis, your glutes rest fully into your supports. Relaxing the legs, the thighs, front and back. Softening around the knees, shins, the calves. Relaxing your feet, so the heels, soles of the feet, tops of the feet, and all of your toes just releasing out in any way that's comfortable and letting go. Give your weight to the supports. Let the supports of the chairs, the floor, gravity support you. Just allow yourself to release out, allow yourself to let go, to be effortless, to be easy. And allowing your awareness to find your breath if it's not already there. Just to notice the body resting and the breath as it comes and goes, the lovely expansions in the body, lengthways, front and back, around your torso. And those inhalations and that lovely softening back to center, releasing back to center, those grounding, exhaling breaths. If the mind wanders and the mind is apt to wander, just bring your awareness back to all of the parts where your body is connecting with the supports. Trust back into those supports. And notice that breath coming and going. Perhaps you might visualize a colour for the in-breath as it comes in, and just see does that change as the breath moves out. Or you might have a little mantra for yourself, something, a word that you say on the inhalation. It might be peace, calm, love, balance. And then on the exhalation, perhaps just something like release. So that every inhalation is calling in something to nurture you. And every exhalation is supporting the release, the letting go of anything that's no longer serving you. Any fears, worries, cares, concerns. So for now, let yourself rest and let yourself be. Let your breath be nice and long, deep, slow and full. Every exhalation, support the release of your cares, worries, tensions, concerns. And every inhalation nourish you, calling in peace, balance, connectedness with yourself. Perhaps energetic connection to loved ones, people who maybe you can't be with right now, you can't be in close proximity with, but you can still connect with, still stay in touch, hold them in your mind's eye and send them goodwill, good wishes, loving kindness, and then allow yourself to receive as well with those inhalations, the nourishment and the support and the goodwill that is being directed towards you as well. From me and from those in your life who love you and care for you, who probably miss you right now. As we come towards the end of our practice, allowing your breath to become a little longer, deeper, slower, fuller. sensing into the energy of the breaths, the dance between body and breath, with all of the supports around you. So you can stay here, you're home, you're in your own space. You can stay here as long as you like, as long as you wish to continue, just to enjoy a little bit of rest, a little bit of quiet and ease. As long as you want to stay connected, tuned in with yourself. And when you are ready to rejoin the day, when you're ready to move back into your morning or afternoon or evening, whenever it is that you're tuning in, take some little movements along the way to waken the body up. So gentle little wiggles of fingers and toes and rotations of ankles and wrists. Gentle movements that just support your re-entry into the world and kind of that re-energizing of your mind, your body, and welcoming yourself back into your day. Hopefully with a little bit more calm, with a little bit more ease, having released a little something and called in a little something to support you along the way. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for practicing with me. Apologies for the distractions of furry friends, but I guess that's what happens with life. Things come in to distract us and to get in the way, and if we can just allow them to be there, allow ourselves to move through them and focus on what we want to focus on. In this particular practice, it's our breath and some movement and that inward connection. And the things that go on around us can be a little bit less important and a little bit less, perhaps, impactful if we choose to view them in that way. So take care, mind yourself, be safe. The chair practices are great for everybody really, but if you're using the chair practices because of any limitations with mobility, then it might be worth tuning into some of the restorative practices as well. And if you have a nice firm bed, if you have a nice firm mattress, some of those might be safe for you to do lying on the bed if getting down onto the floor is a bit too effortful for you, and there's lots of meditations available for you on the online studio as well. So we'll be back soon with another practice. I'll be in touch about live streaming and doing some where you can see me and I can hopefully see you. You won't be able to see each other, but we might be able to have a little chat. And in the meantime, just take care, be well, and hope to see you soon. Thank you. Namaste. Bye-bye.